The slacks in a
Steak
second because I
tacos,
know a
man.
lot of you have been asking about what my ass looks like in these slacks. Apparently that's like a big topic of debate on if it was appropriate. This is the outfit I was wearing and the pants that I'm about to show you. Okay, and before I do, I want to tell you 3 boundaries that I have as a teacher. The first one, I go by Miss B exclusively. Number 2, they do not know my first or last names. None of the students know that. The school does not give out my first or last name. And number 3, I am an anonymous figure in these kids' lives. Like, I am a substitute teacher. I float between classrooms, between schools, providing support where the district needs me. I promise myself, if and when students come up to me and they ask me about my social media, if they find it, I will not be teaching anymore, because at that point I've gotten too big. I'm a good teacher. I went to an Ivy League school. I was a teaching assistant at Brown and Providence Public Schools and Chicago Public Schools. Yes, you can be smart and hot. I'm sorry. Okay, these are the pants I was wearing. They're slacks. I think for most of the day I kept my sweater down, but I can't really help the way I'm built, so sorry if you think it's inappropriate. I'm not showing any skin, so peace.
I'm willing to bet $100 that the teen boys that found her voluptuous or whatever was some black teen boys. Because I had a lot of white friends, her buddies, and they don't go for them type of girls. The thick white girls that look like they softball players or something like that, or in trailer park. I'm not gonna even say trailer park. Them black boys are going for them thick white girls. So I know, I can just imagine what they were saying. Boy, can you imagine them? Miss Tate, can you imagine, boy? Hey, Teach, what's your Instagram? So, but you gotta know one thing though. She a substitute teacher, so that speaks volumes. Imagine sitting in the class with a teacher. Imagine that being your full-time teacher. You can kind of get desensitized off of looking at her and just focus on the subject. But if you see her coming there every now and then, that's a whole different ball game. Because a teacher that's in there all the time can kind of grow on you in a way where you might not even like her because of how she got an attitude, which telling you to shut up, she's giving you F's or something like that. But a substitute that coming there every now and then, shit, telling you it's a whole different vibe. But I'll yield.
Let me go there. Who was that talking?
I just wanted to add real quick. How is it that this woman is walking around school and none of the kids know her first and last name? Oh, they just address her as Miss B. I mean, that's appropriate.
She's a substitute. She can do. I mean, real teachers can't. Well, I'm not.
I mean,
your regular teacher can't do that. A substitute probably can get away with that, but your regular teacher wouldn't be able to do that. It would be very hard to do that.
Yeah, I work in the schools, and it's a teacher, a substitute named Miss R, but we don't know her first and last name. We just call her Miss R.
That's insane.
She's a substitute. She's like, she come in and out.
A staffer in the building, no one knows their name.
I'm pretty sure the principal does.
Yeah, I think the adults may know it, but she can go to the class and say, "Hey, I'm Miss So and So." I can't do that because my name is literally on your report card. Like my name is on your grade.
And substitute teachers are given ID, like you know, in order for everybody else to know, like staff to know in the building that she belongs in the building.
Man, I'm really struggling to tie it all in, like how important her last name is to the whole point.
I think it's so they don't find her on the internet since she has a social media presence. Because you could just Google somebody and find a social media. But hopefully no one, I mean, unless it's like the primary source of income, hopefully no one is using like their first and last name and putting like all their public information out. I honestly don't feel like that actually happened either, to be honest. I feel like she's doing it for content.
Nah, girl, no, that happened.
I feel like it's an exaggeration.
That happened.
Or yeah, maybe an exaggeration.
I feel like it's more of an exaggeration because why are you even making this that big of a deal if a female student came up to you and just said, "Hey, these boys are talking about you," right? So I feel like it's just over the top. So I agree with Jarwin when he said it must have been black boys. Because I feel like she's already, I went to Brown, I taught here, I taught there. Ma'am, you are a sub. You're not even a real teacher. So first of all, relax. You know what I just relax. And you're not even all that thick. So to just be walking around here like, oh, I got so much body. You were hit on by teenage boys. Relax.
That's how I feel. Like,
Can you
she's
pull the
lying
picture up
there.
real quick?
I don't see what like she's seeing or what y'all seeing. I feel like she has
no ass. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's
It's a wrap for her. Hell no.
I feel like she's reaching for the attention because no one. I just don't. I don't know.
No.
It seems like she's putting 10 on 20.
She got enough. She more like a Lane Bryant build.
No.
That's what I say. It's more not wide. It's not given because these boys, they on social media, they can see ass, okay? So to me, I don't see even, ma'am, you look like a regular white lady to me. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Sarah playing it top.
My question was she reprimanded by the school or something?
No,
apparently I don't even know that she's talking about this.
What the hell are you complaining about then, man? Like,
No,
come
I
on.
think in terms of inferencing from what she said from the video, I think she reported it, and then she said that they didn't get reprimanded, nothing happened to them, they didn't get suspended or anything. So I'm assuming that she reported it, but I think I'm gonna be honest, she probably reported it because maybe it was something negative that was said, and she said it hurt her feelings. So that's why I'm thinking it was something negative. But maybe if it was on the other side of something like, oh, damn, she look good. You know what I'm saying? That
They said she ain't had no ass.
Yep, they told her, why you ain't do the homework? And he was like, well, why you ain't got no ass? Shit like that. Your ass got
she ain't had no ass.
KK booty the fuck
That sounds more believable. But that whole like I tried to cover it. I'm sorry I have a body. Like I'm just not. I'm not believing.
Yeah, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way when she talking about a teacher. I can't help that I'm hot.
Yeah, no one says that.
Y'all gotta remember, kids be trolling too, so they could have said it, but in a jokingly kind of, so
like, this bitch, you ain't got no ass.
Probably thought that was being.
Shan, what's the worst thing a student said to you?
Child, I had a whole horrendous. I had a kid who literally was on what's it called, or restraining, or he couldn't be on my hallway.
Nah, I believe you. I see you standing.
He could not be on my hallway, and the dude showed up anyway, knocking the door like, Miss Higgs. I was like, did you not give the cop say you can't be on your hallway?
We had a teacher.
It went on for like 3 months, y'all.
I believe you. We had a teacher named Miss Peyton. She was bad as fuck. She looked like Halle Berry, just a little dark skinned, a little darker than Halle. I said, God damn, I wanted to be in her class. It was 2 5th grade class. I was in the other one. All my homies got in her class. I'm like, damn, I wanted to be in that class with y'all.
Hey,
we was nice.
I was just gonna say, but you guys gotta understand that we speaking about it from what we used to seeing. But I think in her community, she may be considered on the thicker side. So I don't know what.
She a teacher in Chicago.
White girls got ass now, and that's not the white girl ass.
I'm not saying that she got it, but sometimes when they had a hip, sometimes depending on what they wearing, I mean, she's not the flattest. I seen flatter than that.
Yeah, she ain't flat, but
yeah.
When you pull up Instagram Explorer, these kids got access to Instagram Explorer. Them women made like capital.
Why do we talk like black women are just thick?
A lot of them do. The one underneath you is.
But this has never been the case.
Directly underneath you is hella thick.
This wasn't the case in the early. It wasn't the case in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, 2010s, and the damn show ain't the case in the 2020s.
You trying to say we ain't thick? You don't live down south. I beg to differ. I feel like the reason why the white girls is thick now because they getting surgery and they inbreeding with black folks.
That's not. Listen, black women are not just thick. What are y'all talking about?
Not all black women are thick, but I would say the majority of the ones that I know.
No, y'all might get fat, but y'all not just thick. It's not like black people just thick. No, you're not. No, you're not. Listen, I've seen plenty of skinny girls in my lifetime. Plenty of skinny girls.
Is that the lady?
All throughout high school, most of the girls in my school was slim.
She doing this for clout. For sure. She on there dancing in crutches.
No, that wasn't her. That was somebody else.
Was that her?
So were you telling me?
Yeah, that's her. She ain't got no.
around thick black girls when y'all was in high school?
Yes.
Absolutely. There was a lot of them.
Well, what's the difference between thick and fat?
Fat is
not too much. A fine line between thick and fat.
It's very
most girls think it is thick. It's fat.
Away.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
If your waist is wide, you're not thick.
You're giving Kevin Samuels right now.
Let me just say this right
nobody
here.
But me.
Let me just say this real fast. I would have to agree with Will. I'm not gonna even lie.
Look at that. Look at that.
Let me just say this. It was a time when being thick was a sell. No, you got props for being thick. You always had the thick, right? It wasn't that many of us. It wasn't. Now it's just like
everybody thick, huh, Shan?
And I'm from Montgomery, Alabama.
Why does the woman being thick the placeholder for her to be hit on or found attractive?
I don't think it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was in school, man. I was in school in Alabama. A lot of the white teachers, some of them had fupas, but they had a little bit of protrusion. And it wasn't like the Instagram models. I mean, it was no, I don't think that they have to be like absolutely thick and that their cheeks got to be round for somebody to find it flattering. You also got to think about who's looking at them. Like, if you look at somebody, I mean, have you ever walked past a couple and you saw the dude with a girl that you thought maybe wasn't attractive? That's confirmation that maybe what you see as flattering or attraction that might turn you on, the next person may not see that. They might see something. They might see something that you don't like. They might love it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know what is going through these kids' minds. She might be dropping the freaking eraser or markers on the floor and bending over, and like, you don't know what's going on in there that's driving these kids to say anything. And I'm not saying that it's true that they did it. I'm just saying, I'm just entertaining what do they say? For sake of argument, let's say it is true that the kids were doing that. I mean, haven't y'all seen these football players in high school talking to these little thick white girls that they don't really have butts like the black women, but they just, I don't know what's doing it for them. But it's doing something.
Go ahead, yeah, what you about to say?
I was gonna say most of the times it's proximity, right? Like the scale ranges on who's around you at the time. Not everybody you've ever seen, especially in high school. But I also think that woman, even if we were entertaining it for the sake of argument, they were talking shit about her. They weren't complimenting her. I think because she said SL shamed, so they must have been talking shit and she didn't like what they said. So she probably just was like a white girl who got called fat. So
what do you think what do you think a boys locker, I'm not a boys locker room. What do you think, what do they call it? Barbershop talk?
Yeah.
What do you, according to men, what do you think we would consider slut shaming? What would you think how the conversation would go?
I don't know. I feel like men talk about bodies. Well, in 2025, I feel like everybody talk about bodies the same, but for sake of argument, I feel like I really can't think of something that a teenage boy would say to her that would offend her in a negative way.
I got something.
Said inappropriate. She said they said inappropriate things to me. So that's what's
Barbie
confusing.
said fat ass. Like,
yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm thinking like in my mind, if it's inappropriate, then I'll automatically go to.
Remember, this came from a teen girl reported it to the teacher.
So teen girl heard a teen boy say something, and she told the teacher.
She said, "Oh, he said you got a fat ass." It probably went something like that.
They were making inappropriate comments about your body.
But she probably don't think having a fat ass is a good thing because of her culture. So even though
no, I guess you do. That's why I asked.
She's been twerking all on the internet.
And they probably told her, like, and you seen that teacher with no ass twerking? I believe
that's exactly what it was. I was about to say the same thing. What happened was that one of the kids found her Instagram, caught the video of her twerking, and said she ain't got no ass at all.
Well, no, but what I'm bugging on.
I thought she said that they didn't have her social media.
All you have to do is take picture and put it in Google Pictures.
No,
Right?
they somebody found that social media.
It
That's the
had
reason
to
why she's so
be.
protective of it.
It had to be a black boys in a predominantly black school, especially if they didn't do nothing. They're like, girl, go back to class. Like, I'll talk to them. Go
Look,
back to class. Like, there's
what
no reason for them to get suspended over this.
She did
what
say
I'm
she
loving
taught in
on
Chicago public schools, so maybe.
I went to Chicago public schools, and it was some thick teachers sometimes, but very rarely. And she ain't one of them. Them type of
She
teachers
ain't
we
one of them.
ignore and didn't want to listen to.
Come on, man. This is a this. Y'all
didn't
think
have no relationship.
y'all think the
with her.
kid said this woman has a nice ass?
No, absolutely not.
No, I don't think
Back.
they said that. I think they were saying stuff like, man, I would knock her down. You got to understand the ears of the teen girls that's listening to it, that's calling it inappropriate.
y'all.
I'm thinking, go ahead, Will.
The problem with this whole dynamic is, sorry to interrupt, bro, is that you got a woman trying to get boys suspended off of hearsay. We're not even talking about that. She trying to get them suspended because a student told her they said something. Do you know how crazy that is? And that type of suspension get on your record and is somewhat sexual harassment. Can you imagine your son now being suspended on sexual harassment via hearsay? That can lead to expulsion.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe somebody thought he damaged her by making that comment.
And because of that, because she didn't hear her say, that's the reason probably why I didn't hold any water. It's like, we don't. That's not. Kids say.
Yeah, none of those kids are gonna be like, I said her ass was flat. Like none of those kids is trying to. And I was a teen. I'm not finna confess to that. No. No, I didn't say that. And then it's bro code. You're not gonna snitch on your homies. No, I don't know what that girl. That girl probably don't try to. I'm telling you, it probably was some girl that didn't like them boys. That was annoying. Some nerd girl. Some Karen. Her mother is probably Karen. Probably just walking around public parks, cleaning up trash and yelling at motherfuckers for not putting their trash in the can or something.
But imagine this: you a parent and you get called to the school, and the principal is telling you, Darwin, we about to suspend Darwin Jr. And you're like, for what? And you're like, well, because the teacher told us that a student told her that she overheard some boys saying X, Y, and Z.
I don't think that's the process.
If they said that we overheard your son saying that teacher got a flat ass.
No. But think about what I said. The principal is telling you that the teacher told him or her that a student told her that she overheard some boys saying, some boys, not a boy, some boys. Now we have to figure out who said what, or did you hear them both, or all three of them, or all four of them say it? Do you see how messy that is? How big of a firestorm that would create? What would you do as a parent if you were to get called to your son's school and that was the conversation you were met with?
I just need Black Twitter to do that thing and find out her real name.
No, all you got to do, if I'm a parent,
did find out her real name.
But the school wouldn't call unless they know.
That was her TikTok.
Like I've seen this happen in schools a lot of times where kids will come to the office and be like, he cursed at me. He said I'm a B. He said she did this. The school doesn't just, and that's probably why she was like, they did nothing because the school had to do some investigation. So I doubt they called the parents. She said nothing happened to the boys. The school wasn't gonna call
the schools are protecting little boys if they want to be girls. And little girls, if they want to be boys, they don't even tell the parents anymore. I don't trust the schools as far as I can throw them. What are you talking about? The schools aren't investigators. They're not trained.
That's why the parents are supposed to be involved. If the parents involved, you don't have those issues in your school.
Yes, you do. This is not because the parents are involved. It's some parents that are supporting this foolishness.
The school won't tell you. What are you saying?
Oh, y'all must not know. Maybe Shan may know a little bit more about this, being that she's an educator. Shan, are you familiar with what they're doing in Seattle?
Well, I'm not in Seattle. They don't do that.
No, are you familiar with what I'm asking?
I thought it was in California.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it in California. Seattle, Washington, and California kind of follow suit. But anyways, Seattle is pushing for a legislation for parents to not be informed for 72 hours after there's an incident with your child, no matter what the incident is, to protect the privacy of the kid. If the kid is 13 years of age or older and they experience a sexual assault by a staffer in the building, 72 hours must pass before the parents can be notified by the school. And you want to trust these type of organizations?
I thought you was
my school doesn't follow those.
I didn't hear about that. I thought you was referring to students who call themselves a different, identity when they're at school versus what the expectation is at home, that the school is allowed to not say nothing to the parents. So if they go to school at home, if your daughter name is, Kelly, when she go to school, she want her name to be Bill, they don't have to tell her. That's what I thought you were referring to.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I didn't hear that.
That's part of the whole. That's all part of it as well. But that's not the main point I was focused on. But no, that's part of it as well.